Here's something wild. People will spend an entire afternoon obsessing over how fast a car can go from 0 to highway speed, then spend the next 8 years staring at a dashboard they barely glanced at before buying. That's the reality we don't talk about enough. There's a new affordable electric vehicle dropping next year for under 25 grand, and honestly, the interior might be the make or break factor for whether your parents or older relatives finally ditch their trusty gas sedans or stick with what they know. But we're not talking about whether the seats are wrapped in leather or cloth. That's surface-level stuff. What actually matters? The shape of the seat that either supports your back properly or leaves you aching after a road trip. How quickly the touchscreen responds when you tap it. The noise level inside the cabin that either keeps you alert or leaves you exhausted. These are the details that define your daily experience, and that's exactly what we're digging into today. If you're tired of hype and want real analysis that doesn't treat you like a child, stick around. This is the kind of breakdown that gets buried if people don't engage, so if you find value here, hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's talk about 3 critical interior elements where this budget electric car either matches the traditional brands or shows you exactly where corners got cut. Picture this. The entire dashboard stripped down to almost nothing. No gauge cluster in front of you. Just one massive 15-inch screen sitting in the center of the dash. That's the direction this affordable EV is heading, and the screen is actually bigger than what you'll find in most compact sedans from the big Japanese brands. We're talking nearly 5 inches larger than a standard setup, with resolution sharp enough and brightness high enough to make everything crystal clear, even in direct sunlight. For anyone over 50, here's why this matters. Bigger text. Bolder graphics, fewer menus buried inside menus. The software is built around simple swipes and taps. So getting to your music or navigation takes 1 or 2 moves instead of 5 or 6 like you deal with in some traditional systems. Now here's something interesting. The software update coming with this car includes adaptive scaling. What does that mean in plain English? The system watches the lighting conditions and time of day, then automatically makes icons bigger and increases contrast when you're driving at dusk or night. Critical controls like defrost or seat heaters grow by 12%, and the contrast jumps to 15:1 during evening drives. Why? Because small, faint buttons become nearly impossible to see when the sun's setting. And that's a massive complaint from drivers in their 50s and 60s. Research shows this modification cuts the time it takes to adjust climate settings from over 4 seconds down to under 3. That's a 33% reduction, which means more time with your eyes on the road instead of hunting for a button. The screen's responsiveness is another factor. This system runs at 60 Hz with touch response under 50 milliseconds. Compare that to the roughly 100 millisecond lag you often get with Japanese brand infotainment, and you'll notice the difference immediately. Maps redraw instantly. Voice commands trigger within a second. For older drivers, these split-second improvements reduce distraction significantly, set the temperature to 70 degrees. But let's be honest about what's missing. Traditional sedans still give you dual screens or a combination of digital and analog displays. Speed and navigation stay visible at the same time. With a single central screen, you're relying on split-screen software to juggle everything. The Japanese brands still provide a smaller digital display directly behind the steering wheel, paired with classic needle gauges. Those setups let you check your speed or range with a quick glance straight ahead, while the single-screen approach forces you to look sideways toward the center console. For someone who's been driving with traditional gauges for 30 or 40 years, this is a genuine adjustment period. The bet here is that cleaner design and less hardware make the cabin feel modern while cutting costs. Eliminating a separate driver display probably saves several $100s per vehicle, but the trade-off is real. Wipers, defrost, climate settings, all of it is digital only. Meanwhile, traditional sedans still give you physical knobs and buttons you can adjust by feel without taking your eyes off the road. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. Driver behavior studies show something unexpected. After about 3 weeks of using a single-screen setup, drivers over 50 actually make 11% fewer mistakes with secondary tasks compared to traditional multi-screen layouts. The reason? Consolidating everything in one spot creates a single focal point. You're not wasting mental energy deciding which screen to look at. But this only works if the interface is designed properly. The updated system reportedly keeps critical driving data in a persistent header bar that stays visible no matter what app you're using. Your speed and range never disappear when you're adjusting navigation or climate. So here's the real question hanging over this car. When every critical piece of information flows through one panel, does that simplicity actually make your daily drive easier? Or does it feel like a downgrade compared to the more familiar layouts of traditional rivals? For older drivers, seat comfort and legroom often matter way more than how quickly the car accelerates. This budget electric vehicle is expected to borrow heavily from proven cabin proportions, meaning seat width around 54 to 56 centimeters and backrest angles between 12 and 15 degrees. Those numbers match up with compact sedans from the big Japanese brands, where seat bases typically measure around 55 centimeters across. Materials will likely be woven fabric or synthetic leather, a practical choice that keeps costs down while aiming for durability and easy maintenance. What isn't confirmed yet is whether there will be extra lumbar padding or adjustable thigh support, features that make a huge difference for drivers over 50 on long hauls. Here's where it gets interesting. The development team has reportedly tested new foam configurations, targeting a 20% improvement in pressure distribution. Internal documents suggest dual-density foam might be coming, firmer bolsters for lateral support during turns, softer central zones to reduce pressure points during extended sitting. This technique mirrors what you'd find in premium German sedans, but at a fraction of the cost. The innovation comes from computer modeling that maps pressure distribution across different body types, allowing optimization without expensive trial and error development. If executed well, this could fix the most common complaint about current seating, excellent for short commutes, problematic for 3-hour drives. In terms of space, front headroom should hit around 970 to 1,000 millimeters, basically matching traditional compact sedans. Shoulder room could be a deciding factor, with estimates putting this car at 1,365 to 1,380 millimeters, slightly wider than standard Japanese sedans. That means 2 adults in the back should have less elbow contact. Seat height from the floor is projected at 460 to 470 millimeters, giving older passengers easier entry and exit compared to lower seats found in many compact EVs. These small but measurable differences reveal where practical advantages exist beyond just styling or battery technology. The elevated seating position delivers a benefit rarely discussed: improved sight lines over increasingly tall SUVs. With average vehicle height now exceeding 67 inches, this cabin positioning lets drivers maintain better awareness of traffic patterns 2 to 3 vehicles ahead. For aging drivers with slower reaction times, that's a genuine safety advantage. The height increase also reduces hip angle during entry, decreasing strain on knee joints by roughly 18%, based on biomechanical studies. Rear seat space ties directly to the wheelbase. This car targets roughly 2.7 meters, nearly identical to benchmark Japanese sedans. That should translate to rear legroom in the 910 to 940 millimeter range, putting it neck and neck with established competitors. The advantage could come from a flat battery floor that removes the central tunnel, freeing up several extra centimeters of foot space in the back row. Traditional sedans still have that hump eating into the middle passenger's comfort, while this electric vehicle offers a flatter, more open layout. What remains uncertain is cushioning. Japanese sedans are known for softer foam that holds up well on drives of 185 to 250 miles, while current electric vehicle seats have drawn mixed reviews, firm enough for short commutes, not always forgiving on highway trips. So here's the critical question. Will this affordable electric vehicle finally deliver seating comfort that rivals or even surpasses the proven long-distance ease of traditional Japanese sedans? Climate control and cabin noise directly affect comfort, especially for older buyers who may be more sensitive to temperature fluctuations and road noise than younger drivers. This budget EV is expected to use a simplified version of proven climate systems, featuring hidden air vents that distribute airflow evenly across the cabin. Cooling output should measure around 5 to 5.5 kilowatts, roughly equivalent to a mid-size home AC unit. If it includes advanced air filtration, the compact EV could gain an edge in urban areas where air quality is a daily concern. The climate system is learning from aviation engineering, offering zone-specific temperature control for each seat with minimal extra energy consumption. Predictive algorithms factor in sunlight angle, glass tint, and even occupant positioning to maintain steady comfort while using 22% less energy than conventional EV systems. For older drivers sensitive to drafts or uneven heat, this precision eliminates constant manual adjustment. Battery thermal management also plays a role in cabin comfort. Advanced heat pump systems deliver substantial heating output while consuming roughly 30% less energy than older resistive heaters. This allows cabin warm-up from freezing to comfortable in about 8 to 10 minutes, compared with 12 to 15 minutes in traditional hybrids using engine waste heat. Cabin preconditioning via smartphone app can cut that time to under 5 minutes when plugged in, an advantage for older drivers who want consistent comfort without waiting in extreme weather. Noise insulation is another key variable. Current electric vehicles register about 70 to 72 decibels of cabin noise at highway speed, while traditional sedans typically fall closer to 68 to 69 decibels under the same conditions. That 2 to 3 decibel difference may sound minor, but it can make longer drives feel more fatiguing, particularly for passengers in their 50s and 60s. This could be offset by optimizing door seals, adding acoustic glass to front windows, or retuning suspension to reduce tire noise, though cost constraints in a $25,000 car may limit how far engineers can push these refinements. For drivers who routinely cover 125 to 185 miles, the balance between cooling power, clean airflow, and low cabin noise matters just as much as screen size or cargo space. The engineering capability exists to match traditional rivals, but whether those refinements survive the push for affordability remains uncertain. Here's what it comes down to. This isn't about comparing spec sheets between brands. It's about whether daily usability can beat decades of refinement in the one place that actually matters, the 11,000 miles per year that average drivers cover. Can engineering teams, under intense pressure to hit that $25,000 price point, deliver an interior that doesn't just look different but actually works better for drivers who need reliability more than gimmicks? Think about the features we've covered. The single screen that either simplifies your experience or forces an uncomfortable adjustment. The seating that might finally match long-distance comfort or fall short on extended trips. The climate and noise management that either creates a sanctuary or reminds you every day where costs were cut. If this breakdown changed how you think about affordable electric vehicles, show some support by hitting that like button. It genuinely helps more people discover analysis that respects their intelligence. Subscribe if you want deeper dives on battery architecture, real-world range degradation, and the technical details that actually matter, and drop a comment with the single feature. Whether it's the seat design, screen interface, or cabin quietness, that would make you choose this over a traditional sedan. Every response shapes what gets covered next, and your insights matter more than you realize.